Welcome to the November edition of the Montana Air National Guard Report, a broadcast news program produced by the 120th Fighter Wing's Public Affairs Office. I'm Technical Sergeant Christy Mason. 31 members of the 219th Red Horse Squadron of the Montana Air National Guard deployed to Colorado to support flood relief efforts on October 11th. Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson brings us this report.
The engineering specialists were activated by Montana Governor Steve Bullock to assist the Colorado National Guard and the Colorado Department of Transportation with repairing roads and highways damaged by the devastating September flooding.
Our mission is to do engineering work, to do combat efforts to support nation and state, and in this case, while we are going under state active duty for the state of Montana, it is for a neighboring state.
The Montana Guardsmen will integrate with heavy construction units already in place from Colorado and Utah and repair roads located near the communities of Boulder, Estes Park, and Longmont, Colorado. The request for volunteers was met with enthusiasm and excitement from unit members.
We always have great participation by our members in anything that we have to do. A lot of that is because we have great employers out there that are always willing to let their guardsmen go and support both the state and the nation.
The 219th Red Horse Squadron has answered the call to deploy and serve on numerous federal and state missions, but this is the first time members of the squadron were activated to deploy to a neighboring state in need of assistance.
We've been all over the nation and all over the world, but never on a state emergency activation like this one.
The deploying members of the 219th Red Horse Squadron consider the state activation an important opportunity to serve their fellow citizens during a time of need.
I joined the military to make a difference, and this is exactly what I joined to do. We're here to help in natural disasters when anyone needs it.
The 219th Red Horse deployment is scheduled to last 18 days. Follow-on units from Kansas, Tennessee, and Florida will replace the Guardsmen once the state activation ends and they return home to Montana. In Great Falls, Montana, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reporting.
The 31 members of the 219th Red Horse Squadron that deployed to Colorado to support flood relief efforts returned home to Montana on October 25th. Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson brings us the story.
During the deployment, the Guardsmen were able to assist with rebuilding roads damaged by September flooding in the Lyons and Estes Park area of Colorado. The engineering specialists were also able to utilize a Guardsman's specialized civilian experience to build a retaining wall used to support a highway off-ramp.
In this situation, we have an airman that has a business on the side where he actually does landscape design, landscape construction, and so he's building a retaining wall here using that skill set.
The project required the Guardsmen to stack boulders on top of one another in sort of a puzzle-like fashion. Heavy equipment operators using excavators had to gauge the size of each rock prior to placing them into the retaining wall. A flowable sealing material was then poured into the crevices between the rocks.
I came down here and did a site visit, and I knew right away that it was something that I could handle and that the 219th Red Horse could accomplish.
In the flood-damaged location, the river had breached its banks and was running far from its normal channel. The flooding destroyed home foundations located near the original river. The Guardsmen planned on returning the river to its original banks to allow homeowners to reclaim their property. They are confident that the Colorado residents appreciate the contribution that the 219th Red Horse Squadron members made to rebuilding flood-damaged roads in their communities.
We know that this could happen in our communities back home. We love to jump in, get our hands dirty, and get the job done, help the people out that need to have it done. Maybe someday they'll come in and help my community out. It's what Guard family is all about.
The deployed leadership was satisfied that the members of the 219th Red Horse Squadron did their best in their effort to fix broken roads to help bring back a sense of normalcy to the residents of Colorado affected by the flooding. In Great Falls, Montana, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reporting.
The 120th Fighter Wing ramp sat empty of aircraft as 3 F-15 Eagle fighter jets flew in tight formation over the Montana Air National Guard base on October 24th. This was the final mission unit pilots would fly as members of the Fighter Wing, as they were bound for Fresno, California to complete the transfer of fighter aircraft to the California Air National Guard. Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reports.
Early in the morning, unit members conducted the final sweep of the ramp to remove rocks and any other material that could potentially cause foreign object damage to the F-15 engines. The aircraft were then carefully prepared for flight by maintenance crews, ensuring that the aircraft would be delivered to the 144th Fighter Wing in top shape. 120th Fighter Wing pilots carried their flight equipment out to the ramp, escorted by family members to witness their last unit mission flown in an F-15 airframe. Unit personnel and retirees also gathered on base to watch as the last 3 fighter aircraft taxied to the end of the runway for the final flight preparation and takeoff. One by one, each fighter jet went from a virtual standstill at the end of the runway to fast attaining the fighter jet's needed takeoff speed. The audience appreciated hearing the loud, familiar roar of the F-15 engines as each aircraft quickly lifted up from the pavement and gained altitude. Once all aircraft were airborne, the 3 fighters assembled into a basic V formation and flew one last ceremonial flight over the 120th Fighter Wing's airfield. The unit's personnel are now focused on training for their new C-130 Hercules air transport mission. In Great Falls, Montana, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reporting.
Now let's take a minute and look at what the dining facility is offering for lunch during the November unit training assembly. Thanks for watching the Montana Air National Guard report for the month of November. We hope you enjoyed our show. Please forward any story ideas you may have for future shows to the Public Affairs Office. I'm Technical Sergeant Christy Mason. Please be sure to catch next month's edition of the Montana Air National Guard report.